Good morning students, welcome to the class of social science for civics for class 9th for chapter number 3 part 1. The name of the chapter is Constitutional Design. I repeat, the name of the chapter is Constitutional Design. In the contents of part 1, we will discuss about one important person of this chapter, that is Mr. Nelson Mandela. Okay, late Mr. Nelson Mandela. Now next we will learn about the democratic constitution in South Africa, struggle against apartheid, towards a new constitution, why do we need a constitution, and the making of the Indian constitution. Now let's discuss about the most important person of this chapter, late Mr. Nelson Mandela. Rolihlahla Mandela was born into the Madiba clan in the village of Maseru in Eastern Cape on 18 July 1918. Okay, Rolihlahla Mandela, it was the actual name of Nelson Mandela. Nelson name was actually being given to him when he was working in this party, okay, his African National Congress Party, and over there one day it had happened that as he was just performing very non-violently, he was doing the work. He never used to fight with anyone. Over there, once upon a time, it had happened that an old lady, she called him as the son of God. So after that time, the Nelson name was being kept, and Nelson Mandela came into existence in the name of, or in place of the name of Rolihlahla Mandela. Rolihlahla Mandela was born into Madiba clan in the village of Maseru in the Eastern Cape on 18 July 1918. Most able, efficient and far-sighted leader of African National Congress, fought against apartheid during white South African government. Okay, it was racial, it was a color change. Okay, color discrimination was going on in Africa on the basis of the color white and the black people. So he really fought against these policies. He spent 28 years in the prison from 1964. In 1992, okay, third person Robben Island. Okay, now direct prison Robben Island. Now Robben Island was actually a place used in India. We used to say that a name that's written Kalapani. Okay, so what's the Kalapani? It's over the chain which is totally surrounded by the water area. Okay, it's situated in between the water where the prisoners used to not get out of it so easily, and apart from that there are the several works they have to perform. Okay, means to be tortured also. So he spent 28 years in that prison, in such type of prison in the Robben Islands. Okay, 1964 till 1992. Now let's come for the democratic constitution in South Africa. This was Nelson Mandela being tried under treason with the white South African government. He and 7 other leaders were sentenced to life imprisonment in 1964 for daring to oppose the apartheid regime in this country. Okay, he was against the system and the policies that the one should not be discriminated on the basis of color. So he, including his 7 leaders, his 7 co-leaders, okay, they all been sentenced to life imprisonment in 1964. He spent his next 28 years in South Africa's most dared prison, Robben Island. Okay, now what does actually the apartheid word means for? It is an official policy of racial separation and ill treatment of blacks followed by the government of South Africa between 1948 and 1989. Okay, it was the 2 times it had happened that the people had to fight for the racial discrimination. Okay, the black people have to fight for that. Now, treason. Treason is actually the offense of attempting to overthrow the government of the state to which the offender owes allegiance. Okay, over here it means that the country had made some rules and policies, but here I am not following all those policies. So it's said today that we are going to be in the treason. I am just opposing the rules and the regulations made by the government. So this is the word actually treason word. stands for. Now, how does this struggle against apartheid happen? Okay, apartheid was the name of a system of racial discrimination unique to South Africa, because usually in South Africa, as per the discrimination was done on the basis of the color, okay, the black and the white. Now the racial discrimination was done. Mostly this is done in South Africa because the people, the environment, okay, over there the people are usually in black in color. So white people used to think then that they are the superior. So racial discrimination is a very normal thing which used to happen in South Africa. The white Europeans imposed the system on South Africa. During the 17th and the 18th centuries, the trading companies from Europe occupied it with arms and force in the way they occupied India. Okay, so in the 17th and the 18th century, as you know, the East India Company, the British East India Company had occupied the India. The same time or the same duration, they also occupied the South Africa. Okay, and they started doing the discrimination on the basis of the color. But unlike India, a large number of whites had settled in South Africa. Okay, just like in India, in South Africa also the East India Company, the British East India Company, they all settled got in South Africa too. Okay, and they became the rulers of South Africa. The system of the public toilets were all separate for the whites and the blacks. Okay, now the public toilet, even the public toilet were being separated. Whiteys were using their separated toilet for themselves in comparison to the black people. This was called segregation. They could not even visit the churches. Okay, now what actually the differentiation was done? Okay, firstly the public toilets were made separated one. The black peoples were not allowed to enter the churches. Okay, they were not allowed to worship with the whiteys. Okay, the black people were not being allowed to form any association or group. Okay, or to protest against the whiteys people. Okay, these rights were being taken off from the blackies. Okay, the black people of the South Africa. Now, since 1950, the blacks, the colored and the Indians, they were fighting against this apartheid system. Okay, on the whole society, the whole world, usually the apartheid system became a very worst thing. Okay, the people were doing discrimination on the basis of the color. They launched protests and marches and the strike in South Africa. The African National Congress, ANC, was the umbrella of the organization. Okay, was the umbrella organization, okay, the main organization that led the struggle against the policies of segregation. Okay, that's why it is regarded as an umbrella organization which actually protected all the blackest people of the South Africa, and they wanted that these rules or system should be banned, should be stopped inside the South Africa. This include many workers' unions and the Communist Party. Many sensitive whiteys also joined the ANC to oppose the apartheid. Now, students, see, all the Britishers were not wrong. Okay, there were some good Britishers also who really thought that whatever the discrimination thing is going on inside the country is really very this apartheid system is very wrong. So we should stop this. It's against the humanity, it's against the customs and the religions what is being taught in the Christianity. So they joined the ANC to oppose and to make this apartheid system stop. Okay, and they also played a leading role in this struggle. Now, several countries denounced apartheid as unjust and racist. Okay, many countries inside the world, they all get opposed for this, and they said that it is a wrong policy. It's an unjust thing against the humanity, against the human behavior. But the white racist government continued in detaining. They all continued with the same policies, torturing, killing thousands of the black people and the colored people also. Colored people, it means we, the Indians. Okay, Indians and the people who were whitish in color. They were neither black nor they were white. Okay, so in between the black and the white, the whitish people used to come. You all know that. Okay, so these people were coming, regarded as the colored people, the white people. Now the three colors came into existence: the white, the colored people and the black people. So usually the white government was torturing the colored people and the black people. So here ANC, they all came as an umbrella organization to protect all the colored people and the black people inside the South Africa, and they all went against this apartheid system, against the strong policies made by the white government. And even in the ANC, the American African National Congress, many of the Britishers also joined, who were really good and who really want this apartheid system should be stopped inside the country. Now towards a new constitution, as protests and struggles against apartheid has increased, the government realized that they could not no longer continue with these policies. Okay, so they started repression themselves. So they started thinking again about changing all the policies and all. So the white regime changed its policies. Discriminatory laws were repealed. Okay, they were being rearranged now. Ban on the political parties and media were lifted. Okay, what they did, they all banned the political parties and the media. Okay, they were lifted, they were being taken off. Okay, now the media became free, and they were being allowed to make their own political parties. After 28 years imprisonment, Nelson Mandela walked out of the jail as a free man. Okay, now what they all did, they all made the Nelson Mandela had given a punishment for the life imprisonment, but as they got aware about that they are not able to continue like this for a longer duration, so they all took the judgment back, and after 28 years they made Nelson Mandela out of the jail. Now finally, at the midnight of 26 April 1994, I repeat, finally at the midnight of 26 April 1994, a new national flag of the Republic of South Africa was unfurled, making a newly born democracy in the world. Okay, on 26 April 1994, finally a new flag, okay, new national flag of the Republic South Africa, of a free South Africa, was being made or hosted. Okay, and it was just looking like, as seeming like, or just pretending to be like a newly born child which came into this world. Okay, so South Africa just became as a newly born democratic country in the world. The apartheid government came to an end, paving the way to the information of the multiracial government. Okay, now over there, firstly the apartheid government was there, they were only following the discrimination, but now it all gave the way to the new or the multiracial government. Okay, now here the white people were also there, the black people were also there, and including the colored people were also indulged in forming the government. So this change had happened now after the struggle, whatever happened in the South Africa. So what was the important date where the national flag of the Free Republic of South Africa was being hosted? It was on 26 April 1994. Okay, and during this, while the East India Company or by the Whiteley's government or the apartheid government was not able to continue because of the struggle what was being going on inside the country, made by the ANC, okay, the African National Congress and its leaders. Okay, now the first punishment, what the punishment that they gave to Nelson Mandela, they all give the punishment for him to for the life imprisonment. Okay, where he was sentenced to or given to the jail, presented behind the jails bars, and over there he was told to stay there for the life, throughout the whole life, 1964 till 2020, 13 he was been there. Okay, he was been alive to 2013. He died in 2013 itself. So for 28 years, since 1964 till 28 years, he was there inside the bars. Okay, after that the 20 years they all made him free. Now apartheid system or the government that came to an end, and now a multiracial government came into existence. A multiracial over here means the government which was consisting of all the three people, the black people, the white people and the colored people. The colored people was usually the Indians, because the Indians are having neither the white color nor the black color, so they were regarded as the colored people. Now, how did this came about? Okay, Let us hear the Mandela. Now here I am revealing you a statement of Nelson Mandela. Okay, the first president of the new South Africa, on his extraordinary transaction when he was being taken the oath, he gave this speech. Okay, in this is a very small part of the speech. He said, historical enemies succeeded in negotiating a peaceful transition from apartheid to democracy, exactly because we were prepared to accept inherent capacity for goodness in the other. Okay, now what does it mean? It means that he said that, see, historical enemies, historical over there, from a very long duration these were the people were enemies, but now they are being succeeding in negotiating with them. Okay, they trying to change them. Okay, with a very peaceful transaction. It means no army, no force were being utilized, very peacefully the work is being done. From the apartheid system, now we are coming to the democratic form of government or democratic country. Okay, why we all be able to do this? Because we were prepared. We all knew that one day we are finally going to achieve the goal. Okay, because we all followed the policy of the goodness, that every person is good. Never mind, the time changes. My wish is that South Africans, here Nelson Mandela is saying, my wish is that South Africans never give up on the belief in goodness, that they cherish, that faith in human beings is the cornerstone of our democracy. Now, what did Nelson Mandela believe? He believed that the human faith in the human beings, the faith in the human beings, that every human being is good. Okay, we should always follow the policy of goodness in comparison to fighting with each other or blaming each other. In comparison to that, we should always follow the policy of humanness and the goodness. Okay, and we should always trust the human beings. This is actually the cornerstone, the main occupant of the South African democratic country. So I really wish that these South African people, the citizens of this country, will never forget the feeling of the goodness, whatever we have tried to establish in our country. Now, after the emergence of the new democratic South Africa, black leaders appeared to follow the flags. Okay, after the democratic country it was established and Nelson Mandela became the president, they all tried to do one thing. What? They all tried and appealed the black people to forgive the white people. Okay, they fight for the atrocities, whatever the wrong thing they have done with us, they all said to forgive them. Okay, they had committed violent power. Whenever they were in the power, whatever the wrong things they had did with them, the black people, the government, the ANC government, and including the Nelson Mandela and other leaders who were from the black people, black community, they all requested other black people of the South Africa to forgive them. They said that let us build a new South Africa based on equality of all races and the men and women. No democratic value on the basis of the democratic values, on the basis of the social justice, on the basis of the human rights. Okay, the party that ruled through the oppression and the ritual killings, and the party that led the freedom struggle sat together to draw up a common constitution. Now, two parties, one which was really very bad. Okay, they all killed several black people, really oppressed them, really, tortured them, miserably tortured them. Now, on the other hand, it was a new government which was on the basis of or made up themselves on the basis of equality, okay, fraternity and sovereignty. Now here both the parties, these all opposite both the parties, they all sat together and made up a new constitution. Now in the constitution, what actually the word constitution stands for? Supreme law of the country, containing all the fundamental rules that is going to be taken out to govern politics and society of the country. Okay, so I hope you all understood the meaning of constitution. Constitution means supreme law of a country containing the fundamental rules and governing the politics and the society of the country. Okay, this is the constitution. Now here the constitution was being formed or made the first time the two rivalry parties, the two rivalry rulers okay, which are being against each other, they all sat together to form one constitution. Now, after the 2 years of discussion and debate, they came out with one of the finest constitution of the world that has ever had. The constitution gave to its citizens the most extensive right available in any country. Together they decided that in search of for the solution of all the problems, nobody should be excluded. Okay, over there what they decided that nobody should be excluded. It means everyone has to be taken all together. No one should be treated as German. Okay, no one will be treated as inferior or the superior. They agreed that everybody should become the part of the solution. So both the parties, whatever they agreed that every person should have the right for taking the part in the or becoming the part of finding out the solution for the betterment of the country, whatever they might have done or represented in the past. Okay, so whatever the solution problems they have faced earlier, so no one should face any sort of problem. Okay, the preamble to the South African Constitution sums up with the spirit. Okay, now the preamble of the South Africa really actually it seriously showed the sum, or we can say the symbol of spirit for all the nations, for all the countries who were really following the policies of the discrimination. Now, what does the word preamble means? Preamble means it's an introductory statement in a constitution which states the reasons, the guiding values of the constitution, okay, which used to give a very summarized manner the whole constitution. These things are to be followed. Okay, these are said to be the preamble. I will show you the instance or the images of the preamble of the South Africa and India, both in the later presentation. Okay, now here both the countries, what actually they decided that no discrimination will be done. All the rights will be given to each and every individual citizen of this country. No individual citizen will be discriminated, or no one will be regarded at them as a superior. So it means the fundamental of equality will be established for the whole country. Now, another thing, that no person should be excluded. Every citizen has a right to get indulged or to get participated in finding out the solution of the problems whatever they have faced earlier. So every citizen will find the solution of the problems whatever they have faced earlier, and thus the preamble of the South Africa, it all began, or it all came up with a sum of spirit. Okay, a sum of motivating other nations for ending up the apartheid system and following the equality and following the ending the discrimination and following the fraternity equality inside the whole nation. Now, the South African Constitution really inspired the Democrats of all over the nation. Okay, every individual human being who was the citizen of any democratic country really got inspiration from the South Africa, a state denounced by the entire world till recently as the most undemocratic one, is now seen as a model of democracy. Now, see, just imagine. At one time where the South Africa was being regarded as the most undemocratic country, okay, where there were no ethics, no principles, no policies of the equality can be considered. They never imagined also they can be considered. But now this only the South Africa came into the front of the whole world, in front of all nations as a model of democracy. What made the change possible was the discrimination. Okay, only one thing that was being wrong over there, that was discrimination. And as the discrimination was being separated from the nation, the world changed. Okay, the people of the South Africa to work together to transform bitter experience into a binding glue of a rainbow nation. Okay, every person is equal. It was looking seriously, a very good feeling was there at that time, and whatever the citizens have felt. Speaking to the South African Constitution, Mandela said that the Constitution of South Africa speaks of both the past and the future. On the one hand, it's a solemn pact in which we as South Africa declared to one another that we shall never permit a repetition of a racist, ritual and repressive past. Okay, over it means that whatever the things we have faced, the past scenario of our life we have faced, we are not going to repeat those again. But it is more important than that. It also has a character to transform our country. So, on which one is truly shared by all. Its people, a country which is fullest of sense belongings to all of us. Okay, black and white, the black and the white, women and the men. So here there will be no discrimination on the basis of color, on the basis of the gender, and on the basis of other formalities or the other rituals or the other customs. Every person will be equal. So this whole the South Africa is being containing on two hands now. One where we are not going to repeat any the previous mistakes that whatever the citizens have done, either from the white comment or from the black comment. Second, we have to establish ourselves as a fully equalized country, okay, where there will be no discrimination inside the whole country. Every person will be equal, whether it's a black or white or women or the men. Okay, so everyone is going to come together, sit together, and to take the participation in the development of the country. Now the question arises that why do we need a constitution? Now here the South African example, the South African constitution is a best example for this. You know why? The over here, because the oppressor and the oppressed, they both were trying to live equally and peacefully inside the country. Now who were the oppressor? The oppressor were the white comment and the oppressed were the black comment. They all, both people, both the citizens, they all wanted to live together without following any sort of discrimination inside the country. Okay, so it was actually not so much easy to trust each other. Okay, they were not able to rely them with each other. They had the fears in their heart. So to safeguard all the things, they just took that help, or you can say interest. Okay, so they everything whatever they make the rules, it all been in a written format. Okay, the black majority was keen to assure that the democratic principle of majority rule was not compressed. They wanted to have the sustainable social and the economic life. So what they want that exactly the equal status, not in only one form but in every scenario of the living requirement, whether it's a social, economical, political, or in other aspects also. They wanted equal right to the white comment or the whiteys. The white minority was keen to protect its privileges and property. Okay, now here the black people want that there should be that equal status given to them also. And now the whiteys were demanding that the white minorities, they were being in a keen interest that they should get the privilege of getting the property, or they should also have some rights. So these two things were being very different from each other. So for making themselves pretend from any other of the more confusions or any other problems, they all made up with or settled down every problem or find it out the solution in form of the constitution. Now, after a long negotiation, both parties agreed to compromise with each other. The whiteys agreed to the principle of majority rule and that one person, one vote. Okay, so now the voting right was also being given to the black people. They also agreed to accept some basic right for the poor and the workers. The blacks agreed that the majority rule would not be absolute. Okay, they will not be totally removed from their power, okay, there will be an equal status, equal power as the black people are getting. Okay, they agreed that the majority would not take away the property of the white minority. Now, over there they said that whoever the ruling party is going to come, they are not being allowed to take the property of the white majority. Okay, the white minority especially. Okay, why? Because the white minorities were really afraid that now our property, our rights are going to be inherited or be taken or snatched away by the black people. Now, this compromise was not so much easy. Now, how was this compromise going to be implemented? For that implementation, they even managed to trust each other. What was the guarantee that both the parties are going to follow the things properly, without any fine, without any discrimination, or without going to break the rules in future time? Okay, for some time they are following, but after some time, may possible they can change themselves. So just to pretend themselves, they all applied or they all agreed for the forming a constitution, a written format where the rules and regulations were being written, and both the parties signed for that. Now, what actually happened? Now, after such a negotiation, so much discussions they had for 2 years, finally they found out the way to build and maintain trust on each other in such a situation that to be written, okay, some rules of the game, that everyone should abide these rules. Later on, the rulers should be chosen in future. Okay, including that, it should be laid down over there that how the rulers are going to work in future time. These rulers also determine what was the elected government are empowered to do and what they cannot do. Finally, these rulers decide the rights of the citizens. Okay, these rules will work only if the winner cannot change them very easily. Now, the winner party also are not being allowed to change the rules so easily. He or the ruling party has to take all the citizens of the South Africa together to change any norm. Okay, this is what the South Africans did. They agreed on some basic rules. They also agreed that these rules will be the supreme one. No one has the authority to change these rules. That no government should be able to ignore these rules. Now, this set of basic rules came up in the form of a constitution. So these set of rules came into the form of the constitution inside the South Africa. Okay, so here with the help of the constitution, they were able to establish trust on each other. Okay, they tried that, okay, if one party or if one favor at the white government or the black government, any government which is not going to follow the rules and regulations, they are going to be given for the judicial part. Okay, they will be given the punishment for regarding that. So both the parties have to follow all the rules and regulations. These rules and regulations will be the supreme one. There will be no white government, there will be no black government. The government will be only one which is going to follow the rules and regulations. And over there also, the ruling party is going to be elected by the citizens, one person, one vote, and as per on the basis of the majority basis, they will rule the government. Now, here at the one vote, one majority, there will be the ruling party is not being allowed to oppress the another opposition party. If black government is coming in form of a governing country, governing government, over there they cannot oppress the white people, okay, the white minorities. And if the white government is coming into existence, they cannot oppress the black people, okay, the black parties, the black community of the South Africa. So this was all came into existence in a form of the constitution inside the South Africa. Now, you know what? Constitution making is not unique only to South Africa. It's actually the basic requirement or the basic route for every nation, because almost the nations are coming in a diverse form, especially the country India. Okay, the relationship may not be happening so much bad as that was of South Africa, but still there were the discrimination. As you read in the French Revolution, what actually had happened? There was a discrimination. There was a discrimination between the states, okay, the clergies, the nobility, and the third citizen, okay, the third state, the discrimination was done there also. So this sort of discrimination should be stopped. There was discrimination between the men and the women. There was discrimination between the caste system also. So all these things has to be changed. So not only related to the South Africa, but it is also related to the every nation who is having a diverse form of the people inside there, living inside it, okay. The relationship may not be happening bad as that between the whites and the black in the South Africa, but all over the world really people face the differences and opinion and interest, okay. Their opinion is different, their interest is different, whether democratic country or it's a non-democratic country, doesn't matter. So now most countries in the world really need to have these basic rules for good nation or good government, okay. This implies not just to the governments, any associations needs to have its own constitution. So it's not, the constitution is actually not required or not made only for the particular government or the particular ruling party of any country, of any nation, but it is also implied for every association which is working inside it. And that is the reason, students, you are able to see that every association, every union or any of the organization, whichever they are working, they are having their own certain set of terms and conditions, rules and regulations, okay. And over there they have to follow those rules and regulations. So this was a difference that came into the world by the support or by the example of the South Africa, that the constitution, the written down the rules and regulations, and where the rules and regulations are being given at the place of the supremacy, okay, they are being regarded as a higher position. At this time, obviously all the people take a sigh of relief. They trust, yes, if these rules and regulations are going to be obeyed, they are not going to be followed properly, obviously the people are going to get punished. Either it's a ruling government or it's an opposition from a party or any citizen who is residing inside the country. Now, it could be a club also in your area, it could be any cooperative society also, it can be any political party, or they all need to have the constitution, okay. They all need to have a certain set of rules. This was actually being gave an example by the help of South Africa, and this till today we are able to find in every aspect of the business opportunities, or even we are going for a job also. The job opportunity, the employer is giving the employee a set of terms and conditions. This you have to follow, and these are the rules and regulations for a school, for a college or any of the other organization, and the people have to follow the same, including that the organization also follow just to protect and to safeguard the work of the employee. So these are the actually said to be an agreement sort which has been made between the two parties who are going to work or function inside of one place. Now, after this, thus the constitution of a country is a set of written rules, okay. Please listen properly. Thus, the constitution of a country is a set of rules that are accepted by the people living together in a country. Constitution is the supreme law that determines the relationship among the living in a territory called the citizens, okay, inside one place, okay, inside one country. And also the relationship between the people and the government, okay. So these constitution is not only telling you or to determine the relationship between the government or the citizen, but also among the citizens too. As you all know that we used to follow some fundamental rights and the fundamental duties. Fundamental rights are being given to every individual citizen. So here the citizen has to obey the policies for or pay respect towards the other citizens, okay. So here what is happening, two citizens are there I am talking about, but also the government now coming to the as being a part of the citizen of this country, and there is a ruling government. The ruling government also have to play or follow some rules and regulations for the betterment of a normal citizen, and the normal citizens are also going to follow some rules and regulations towards the government. So it is an actually set up, you can say in a very easy form, a type of a contract that is being signed between the two parties, two citizens or a citizen or the government. Okay, a constitution does many things. What are the constitution that constitution can does? Okay, now make sure what are those. Just check it out. First, it generates a degree of trust and coordination that is necessary for different kind of people to live together. Yes, constitution helps to generate trust in between among the people of different communities, different religion, different caste. Okay, that yes, we are safe here. We are not going to be discriminated from the society. Second, it specifies how the government will be constituted, who will have the power to take which decision. Now here the constitution also determines that who is going to form the government, how the government is going to form, and whatever the political parties or whatever the representatives who are going to govern the nation, what are the rights they have to follow and who is going to get the rights and what the sort of decisions they can able to take. Third, it lays down the limits on the powers of the government. Yes, the most important thing, it lays down the limit, a control on the power of the government. The government cannot go beyond those rules and regulations. Okay, if they are going to disobey the constitution and they are going to bear out the punishment. Tell us what the rights of the citizens are. Okay. The third, what is being said, it lays the control on the function of the government, and also tell us the government people that what are actually the rights of the people. They can remove you from your position easily. Fourth, it expresses the aspiration of the people about the creating a good society. Okay, it's a sort of a motivational spirit, a motivational thing for all the citizens of the nation that yes, we have the right to make a good human being concerned or humanity based society where all the people are going to live together without any problem, without any panic, without any pain or sufferings. Okay, they all are going to live in follow the policies of the equality. Either they are living in a society or in any small place or in a hometown or at basis of the in between the public and the government also. So this was actually the constitution, and this is actually the reason. These are actually the reasons that why do we need a constitution. Okay, why every citizen is required a constitution to live in. Now, all the countries that have constitutions are not necessarily democratic. This is a very important line in the sentence. Please listen it properly. I repeat once again for you all. All countries that have constitution are not necessarily democratic. They can be non-democratic country also. They can be in a form of a we can say monarchy form of government, or they can be a dictatorship form of government. Over there also the constitution are being made, but there is a huge difference from those form of government and a fully democratic country. You all know the difference behind it very well, that in a monarchy the king is making the constitution, but over there he is only the supreme power. Okay, so obviously the condition change. Now in a dictatorship they say the rules are actually in the hands of the military people. So again this rule change. Over there the people are not actually enjoying all the rights whatever a democratic country citizens used to do. Okay, but all the countries that are democratic will have constitution. Now after the war of independence, after Great Britain, against the Great Britain, the Americans gave themselves a constitution. After the revolution, the French people approved a democratic constitution. Since then, it has become a practice in all the democracies that have to be a written constitution. Okay, so just imagine from that scenario, from that old time, the constitution came into existence. Okay, the people, either it's a French Revolution, and for the ending of the French Revolution also, the rules and regulations have been written and they all signed for it. Okay, they all followed those things. That was a again a constitution was be done. When there was a war against the independence, against the Great Britain, again the constitution was be written, again the policies were be made and the people signed over there. So constitution is not necessary for this present scenario, but constitution is necessary for all the countries who are becoming up or following the policies of the good democratic type or democratic policies inside their nation. Now, let's discuss about the making of the Indian Constitution. Like South Africa, India's Constitution was also drawn up in a very difficult circumstances. Okay, the making of the Constitution for a huge and a diverse country like India was not an easy affair. Okay, at that time, the people of India were emerging from the status of the subject to that of citizens. Okay, the country was born into a partition on the basis of the religious differences. Now, you know, students, at the ending point, when the Britishers were actually following the policies of divided rule since a very long period of time, but when they already saw the unity between unity feeling between the Hindus and the Muslims, because these two religions were in the majorities at that time. So what they did, they made themselves different from each other, divide and rule. They started dividing themselves. Over there, it all led to a great destruction, the great destruction of religions. Okay, the people, the Hindus, they were just killing the Muslim community people and feeling themselves as their enemy, and the same feeling have in the minds of the Muslim community regarding the Hindu community. And after that, a long period of war had been started, and to end that war, a time came for the partition, and the partition of India was being done on two parts, that was India and Pakistan. Okay, the country was born to a partition on the basis of religious difference. Such a small and a stupid difference they had made, and due to which the India has to be faced the problem of partition. This was a traumatic experience for the people of India and Pakistan. Yes, it was really a very painful experience which cannot be forgotten for a longer duration of the generation. Still today, after having the 100 years of independence also, the India is experiencing till then, still it is continuing over here. Why do this terrorism attacks used to occur inside India? Why do the Muslim community, why do the people from the Pakistan only become as a terrorist? Why not from the Iraq, Iran or any other part of the country? The reason, because that feeling, that devil feeling is still somehow exists in the hearts over there. Okay, they really feel that we the Indians are really the enemies of these people. The Hindu community is especially the said to be the enemy party or the opposition party for the Muslim community. This is not happening in India. I'm not telling about India, but this is really happening in between both the countries, and this is actually the basic scenario or the basic problem of the all fighting whatever we used to face regarding the terrorism or any other aspect. If such type of things is we done finished, everything is going to be good in their own place. Now, Indian Constitution was seriously at that time was not an easy task, especially after the partition was done. Okay, because at that time the people were really killing each other, betraying each other. They were just want to be the superior than each other. It all had happened during that time while making the Constitution of India. Now, during the impact of this partition of India and Pakistan, at least 10 lakh people were killed miserably on both the sides of India, on the border of the partition. Okay, why they were being killed? Because the Hindus were, the Sikh community, they were killing the Muslim community, and the Muslim community were regarding themselves, other communities, as their enemies. There was another problem. The British had left it to the rulers of the princely states to decide whether they want to merge with India or with Pakistan. Now, another policy that they applied. Okay, what the cunning policy they applied? The princely states who were not having any or any of the authority or inherent property, okay, who was not having any son to continuing the government or to continuing the kingdom, what they say, okay, we are giving you the authority or the chance to whether you want to go with India or you want to go with Pakistan. Now again they started a fighting between the princely states and among the rest of the citizens. Okay, now the merger of these princely states was a difficult and uncertain task. Obviously, the mergers of these all states coming together like this is not an easy task at all. Okay, when the constitution was being written, the future of the country did not look as secure as it does today. Okay, now at that time, when the constitution of India was being written, at that time whatever the problems were going inside the country, the people, the representatives, whoever tried to make the constitution, okay, who had the hands of forming the constitution of India, they really faced a challenging aspect or the challenging scenario came in front of them. They were really facing a problem that whether these rules and regulations are going to work properly for the longer duration of time, or these rules and regulations will just become a rule inside a book. Okay, no one is going to follow these rules. This was actually a fear in the heart, I can say, among the constituent members, among the members who really helped, or the people who helped in the making of the Constitution of India. Now, the makers of the constitution had anxieties about the present and the future of the country. Yes, obviously, they really have the anxiety. They were really having the fear. They were really terribly fearful, fear fighters. Okay, they were really in a, I can say, curiosity they have that whether the rules and regulations, whatever they are making right now, are going to be helpful for a longer future of time for a country, or it is going to impact the nation in a reverse manner. This was seriously a challenging scenario in front of the makers of the constitution, and we really had a constitution, but still since that time till yet several changes are being done, okay, as per the requirement of the society. Now here at that time when the India and Pakistan challenges were going on, the fights were going on, the people were unable to trust each other. Now this became another very challenging scenario with while writing the constitution. Do the people will follow or make themselves equal to each other? Firstly, they were regarding themselves equal. They were regarding as their own family, two brothers, Hindu and the Muslim. But now, after the partition or during this partition, the scenario is totally changed. Okay, the people are thinking now in a very reverse manner, in an opposite manner, in an opposition manner. So over there, it will be good for the citizen of the country to follow these norms or not for the longer duration of time? It was seriously a challenge. Now, in this presentation, students, I made you clear about who was actually the Nelson Mandela. Okay, what has actually happened in South Africa? How did this apartheid system came into existence in Africa, and what are the things that made or changed Africa into a democratic country? Okay, what was the impact of the speeches and the African National Congress on the South Africans and on especially on the white government? Okay, and including that with the example of South Africa, how do the other countries just started accepting the meaning of constitution and the meaning of a democratic country? Okay, now including that we also studied about that what are the reasons why do we require the constitution inside the country. Okay, why do we require constitution in any organization whomever we are working or the people are working for their betterment? Okay, now we also discussed about that what actually impact and what was a scenario while making the constitution of India, the Indian constitution. Okay, you just read the chapter properly, read the pages, whatever we have discussed it yet. Okay, till then, have a great day ahead. Thank you for watching this video.